From the time we're kids, it's built into us that summer is a time of freedom. Free from school, with good weather, especially for those kids who are lucky enough to go to summer camp, it's a time for adventure. I never went to a traditional sleepaway camp. I was a camp counselor at a cheap day camp in my hometown, and I tried to flirt with all the lady counselors, but because it was a day camp, there was no sneaking away to drink, have sex, or do drugs. I will say, being a teenager at that time with that job, I definitely relate to the stereotypical camp counselors who inevitably doom themselves by following their impulses. Camp is a few worlds overlapping each other. You've got the innocence of youth and the majesty of nature layered under the barely capable teenagers responsible for it all. So this setting is fraught with potential disaster, and it only seems offset by the sheer optimism of youth. Through the 80s and early 90s, summer camp movies were a regular trend, with Meatballs, Little Darlings, Ernest Goes to Camp. I could go on forever. At the same time, the slasher genre had risen as a cheap, easy money grab for studios. That kind of explains why it's a genre filled with mostly bad movies, but there are a couple classics, a few gems I'm really excited to talk about. I'm Darren.
And I'm Mindy, and we are the Rants Macabre.
Let's start with the now infamous Sleepaway Camp.
Yay.
So 1983 sits it between Friday the 13th, 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. And I watched it from start to finish, actually knowing the end.
I knew the end. I have seen it in high school.
Oh, you did?
I never watched it again.
Okay.
So I don't remember. Obviously, everyone knows the ending.
I wonder, though.
I think everyone knows the ending.
I think horror fans probably do.
I think most. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know what average people think because I don't know any of them.
The tragedy is it's a Google search away to completely ruin the movie.
But does it really ruin the movie? I mean, the movie is
not.
bad enough.
Yeah. So Sleepaway Camp is very little redeeming about it. Mm-hmm. I think if anything, it kind of rests in that place where there are funny moments that weren't meant to be funny.
Sure.
It's just full of terrible acting, a terrible script, really low budget. I did notice very quickly that it starts off with the boat accident. And so there's two kids and their dad on a little schooner. And the kids, their two-shot is done in a studio with a gray background.
Okay.
So you go from them outside with dad to isolated shot with them just... There they are talking to each other
like
alone
Power
in
Rangers.
the studio.
They're suddenly fighting in the mountains.
It was terrible. So, yeah, boat accident. There was a conspicuous amount of bad language. It was like kids trying to act grown up or give it some edge because this movie didn't actually have any nudity. Did it? I don't think it had any nudity. For all the gore and stuff.
I don't know.
It didn't go there.
There is in Sleepaway Camp, too.
Oh.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. They really...
I even made a note while watching it.
Course correct for everything they did wrong.
They're like, you know what would make this movie better? Nudity.
So as far as things it's got going for it, there's some pretty impressive softball play in the middle of the movie.
Which I can appreciate. You can appreciate. We played softball.
I did. And, I'm kind of being sincere, but it's completely unrelated to the plot, but a good game.
Nice.
They played a pretty good game. Because it's the 80s, there are a conspicuous amount of, that's going to be my word for this episode, conspicuous, shorts.
Yes.
And crop top shirts on dudes.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, I kind of think that should be a trend again, is crop tops on dudes, but then,
not everybody's an Abercrombie model.
No.
It's kind of inviting disaster. So one of my favorite moments, there's a point where the boys group are trying to get the girls to skinny dip, but it doesn't work. They completely strike out. So they go, fuck it, we'we'll just skinny dip ourselves.
Of course, because, naked swimming with your friends
guys,
is the thing to do.
At that point, you don't have to be naked.
No,
you could
just wear your underwear.
Just swimming with the dudes. It was weird. I didn't
You don't do that?
completely
You didn't
get
do that at your camp?
No, you keep your pants on. I mean, for fear of arrest. Well, in my case, I was a camp counselor, so especially bad.
Well, see, that's part of taping this it makes me nervous because I have to wear pants to tape,
Oh, well, for the record.
I always
Mindy's
wear
being
pants.
salacious. She's always wearing pants. But yeah, we're giving this a video try. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. As it relates to the movie, most of the early attacks look like accidents. So the camp operator is kind of greedy, doesn't want to sound the alarm and send kids home because he's going to lose money. So he puts up with a surprising amount of terror happening to his campers and employees.
How many people need to die at your camp, even if it's an accident, to...
Well, for him, 3.
Then you
3
sound the alarm.
Between someone being stung to death by a beehive being dropped in a bathroom stall, that's going pretty far to rate that one an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did it get in there?
Because not even a prank. They don't even call it a prank. They're just like, oh, it was a terrible coincidence.
There was a beehive in the toilet.
This was pushing it, I thought, but done mostly in silhouette. The lead mean girl is seemingly fucked to death with a curling iron.
Terrifying.
Which, it's hot. Like, it goes from her using it to her being attacked, and then, yeah, in silhouette.
Danger, because I've burnt myself with a curling iron or two.
On the outside.
Yeah, clear.
That's gross.
You're gross. Thanks for that.
All right, so...
And that's why I wear pants.
Towards the end... I had you bring this up on Google Images, and listener, please do the same because there's no way I can do it justice. But towards the end of the movie, there's a cop with the most absurd plastic mustache. And when I was watching it the first time, I swore maybe someone downloaded this, edited this ridiculous moment into the movie, and then uploaded it, and that's what I saw. But it turns out, no, that cop is in the movie earlier, and he's just rocking a mustache.
Yeah, his mustache is fine and full.
Yeah, cop mustache. And then cut to the end, and it seems like makeup department panicked and glued a comb to his face.
It's like someone took a Sharpie marker on some Scotch tape and then just, like, stuck it on.
It was about that good, yeah. Okay, so without outright spoiling it, I'm going to read the end of the synopsis.
Okay.
And it says, who is the twisted individual behind these murders? The disclosure of the murderer's identity is the most shocking climax in the history of American cinema.
It's relatively shocking.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, though.
Right. It is
That's the thing.
random as random gets.
It doesn't make a difference at all.
No, it does not. There's a couple... Okay, so let's just say that the end is hugely insensitive to the LGBT
Yes, definitely.
and trans community and exploits some really bad stigmas. But yeah, completely out of left field, completely unrelated.
And it, has nothing to do with it. So it's not even really a twist. It's just that this is another thing that is also happening. I don't get it.
And the shot is a rudimentary special effects shot. So it's practically a still image. And it's kind of like, it really is bananas, crazy, insane. The look of it. And just the last sentiment of the movie. Yeah, I don't know.
I think today, though, it's really, really insensitive.
Oh, yeah. And it, let's see, does it get worse in the second one? There are a couple offhanded comments and remarks.
Yeah, they say some stuff, yeah.
It's just weird that they bring back that character.
Who's played by Bruce Springsteen's sister.
Yeah, was it? I didn't look up whether it was filmed in New Jersey. I was keeping track that Friday the 13th was filmed in New Jersey. The Burning was filmed in New York. I don't know where Sleepaway Camp was filmed.
I don't know where that was filmed. Madman was done in
if Springsteen's
Hamptons.
sister is in it. Okay. If Springsteen's sister is in it, I kind of assume it was New Jersey. But
yeah, they probably also didn't have like money to drive these people or fly these people anywhere. So
no,
they were hiring local talent.
Sleepaway to Unhappy Campers.
Yes.
With Renee Estevez. And if that's familiar, it's because it's Martin Sheen's daughter, who I know from a recurring role on The West Wing, where she's just like an assistant around the White House. But apparently she's the lead female in this one. It's a softcore porn.
There's a lot of boobs right away.
There's a lot of sex, too.
Because there's the girl who just won't put on her shirt. She's like the pretty girl.
She's eager to that's her defying authority. It's like here in New York, and there's the documentary now about like unleashing the boobs and free the nipple.
That's what she was doing.
Yeah, back in 84, I don't know. 80,
Which
86.
kind of makes some sense.
Actually, no, this was later. This was closer to 88, 89.
Because Angela hates it. And that's Bruce Springsteen's sister.
Yeah.
She hates the boobs. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So that sex crazed girl kind of plays the villain. She's got a couple choice lines in the movie. Sex is her weapon.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no,
Fair enough.
Really tries to come on.
And
to
I hated how they don't like the two sisters that are like
the dirt sister.
They call them the
shit sisters.
They call them the shit sisters.
They're drinking, they're smoking, they're having sex.
Yeah, and they have like poison posters on their walls. They're the coolest ones, and they're so mean to them.
Yeah, they don't last long.
No.
Angela does not like them. I don't know. Were there things about the second one that struck you as worth talking about?
I did like, which was something I've noticed in all these camp movies. So, and I never went to camp because I'm not a rich asshole, but
the kids, it's not their fault.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's always a song.
Oh.
And Unhappy Camper starts out with quite a song that Angela gets because she's the goody two shoes
Is it the
camp
Happy
counselor.
Camper song?
It's the Happy Camper song, which everyone seems to know, and they sing it like relatively not like this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That was
And there's hand signals too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's a whole routine that goes with this.
It's just it didn't sound very good, and eventually just became this cacophony. And, that's probably the audio department's fault, but actually how funny would that be if, like, the whole group spent the whole day rehearsing that song, and then the audio department's who fucked it up? Because I heard it, and I was just like, this sounds like they rehearsed for 10 minutes before they
I'm sure that's how it went. But it seems to be like a trend. There's songs always at camp. There's camp songs.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the first Friday the 13th. Where they're singing like religious songs. It kind of stands in contrast where the first couple runs off to have sex in a room and they're the first ones to eat it. But summer camp and songs, that goes together. It's
I mean, other notes from my sleepaway camp notes, we talked about most everything. Oh, this is a note just in general. Don't ever wake me up with a whistle. That's how Angela wakes people up. Yeah, don't do that. That would be the end of that whistle.
It was just short of banging garbage can tops together.
Who does that?
Like it's basic training.